what does being an entrepreneur mean to you? Ooh, that's a very good question. In my journey, right? When I started, I totally, when I just went out of school, right? So that was like a long time ago. The term that I knew is called businessman or businesswoman. So entrepreneur was like not a buzzword, not a thing that I knew during that time. And so in my journey of like starting different businesses, this is something that I you can take or not take. Is really up to you, because it's up to us to really make meaning of things. To me, how I differentiated a businessman and an entrepreneur. So a businessman, from what I knew back then, is those people who start business for profit, right? And that was common, when I was growing up. A lot of the business people who started their businesses was because they found an opportunity to earn money, and then they started a business, and they started earning from that, and it grew. So something like that. And then entrepreneurs, to me, basically are people who see a problem in the world. They start a venture, a project, a business, will solve this problem, and at the same time earn something from it, right? So that, to me, that was like the main difference. And so that's why I categorize myself as an entrepreneur as well, because that's how I operate. Is I start an enterprise, or a business, because I see a problem that needs solving. Then of course I earn from that enterprise as well. And so think about this: the bigger the problem that you want to solve, the bigger the business, the bigger the enterprise. And so, like, people like, let's say, Elon Musk, who is solving one of the biggest problems in our world, which is like space travel. Well, I wouldn't say it's really a problem, but more of a challenge. And then another problem that he's trying to solve is the limitation that we have in terms of fuel. He's trying to solve that as well with renewable energy, with batteries. So that's kind of like the difference between an entrepreneur and a business person. And so that's what being an entrepreneur means to me. So someone who solves problems, world problems, and then creates a business out of that to earn a living from that. So there are people who start a business, small business, and then there are people who start a big business, and it's based on how big is the problem that you are trying to solve. Cool. I hope I answered that question.
When starting a business, how to find the first teammates? How to find the first teammates? Okay, so when we are talking about teammates, let me just quickly clarify this. When we are talking about teammates, we are we talking about business partners, or are we talking about people who will be working for you? So never mind, I will answer both, so that it's so the how to find the first teammate. And if we are talking about business partners, I wouldn't say I'm an expert at this, but I've been through several business partnerships and not all of them went well in that sense. So I do have experience when it comes to business partnerships, and I would love to share them with you. So far I've had, I think, 4 business partnerships. And so the first one is I left because I felt it was a bit unfair, and there's about 6 of us, and only half was putting in like a lot of the work. And so I thought it was a bit unfair. I won't go into the details because it will be unfair for the other parties, but for me it felt like it was a bit unfair, and that's why I chose to actually leave the group in that partnership. So that's the first one. And then, by the way, I'm gonna share later on like the lessons that I've learned when it comes to choosing the teammates, right? Second is, I think in that business partnership, I worked so much, like I worked so hard to make it work. And that partnership, basically, I changed my leadership style. I changed how I interacted with my business partners. I changed how much how to say command I had. So there were times that I told my business partner, okay, why not you make the decisions? Why not you make you lead the team? Like in making the decisions for the company, and then I will step back and then let's see how that goes. And then there were times that I was like more demanding, and then so I did a lot of variations in terms of my leadership style to really make it work. But at the end of that partnership, it still didn't. So I basically asked them to make them choose whether they want to stay or leave. And so in the end, they left. So that's the second. Then the third one was actually pretty good. It was going pretty well. And it was just at some point, we were working together for a couple of years. At some point, our goals have changed. And so I decided that, oh, okay, it's not aligned anymore. And so I left. And then the fourth one is now pretty good. So the fourth one is my business partnership right now, which is going very well. So I have other coaches who are my business partners, and they know this because I've been telling this to them as well, that so far my experience of this partnership has been really, really good, and I'm really loving it, and it is really working for us. So that's kind of like my experience. So now the lesson, right? So to answer that question, how to find your first teammates as business partners. I think for me is really what I learned is that first you really need to understand your own values first. Like when I talk about values, I'm talking about what's really important for you for the business. What makes it important? What do you want to achieve? So when you are clear with whatever your values are, whoever you want to bring in as a teammate or as a business partner is then you align with them and check with them what are their values, because this is one of the biggest thing that we did in this new partnership that we have, was to really check what are our individual values, and we actually aligned those values and see how we're gonna work with them, because everyone has different values, but there will be values that will be similar. And so for us, it was helping people, having fun while doing business. So this few values actually aligned, and so that's why we are working together very well. And it's not only like being aware of it, and it's really aligning it together so that you can work very well. So that's what I learned. And then when it comes to say people who will be working for you, this kind of teammates, I also had a bit of experience when it comes to hiring people and like working for me. I think this one is really in a way challenging, because if we only hire when it comes to skills, there's a lot of people who have skills. Like there's a lot of people who are very knowledgeable, and most would be graduating, similarly holding the same diploma or maybe masteral degree. But I think what I learned through my journey is that when we want to hire people, I think it's best to look for character. It's best to look for their grit, their determination, their openness to learning. So all of this soft skills is really, I think, the X factor that if you want to hire those kind of people, the only question is, which is always asked to me by my clients, is that, okay, how do I get to know that? Because I haven't hired them. And of course, there are more advanced HR tactics or techniques to be able to get all of this, by answering specific questions, all this. And if you don't have access to this kind of things, what I can suggest is to go through a trial period with a potential employee and check them out, like how do they perform, and then from there you can assess if they have the character, if they have the heart that you are looking for, and then from there you can make your decision, right? So that is basically how to find your first teammates when it comes to hiring people. right? Good. So I hope I've answered that question.
Oh, hey there. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. And remember to click the bell button so you get updated of the new videos. See you in the next one.